Okay, now that we might have our bread texture ready, let's check it together. Let me grab my dough. Okay, it can kind of look messy in there, and that's okay because we're not going to bake it in this machine. All right, so we're just going to I'm going to oil up my hands just a bit. I always keep olive oil on hand for that. So rub it on your hands. Okay, now you're going to pull the dough out, okay? We should get this nice flop. Look for the bread hook because we're going to pull the bread hook off. This is no longer needed. Now, this is what your ball should look like. Do you see that? It's not sticking to the table, but you can feel it kind of catch the table. It is definitely on the table, but it's not sticking to anything. That's a good ball of dough. All right? If you've got children, break off a piece. You know what? This is how we get our children to be interested in cooking. Here, have some Play-Doh while I make bread. Fabulous. They love it. They're making with you. They're interested. They're involved. Now what we're going to do with this dough here is we need a small bowl. So I'm just going to grab a small bowl right here. And I'm going to just a little bit of olive oil on the inside, okay? I'm going to just kind of swish this around with my hand so the whole bowl is coated. And I'm going to take my bread ball, put in a little ball, and I'm going to flop it in there upside down. I'm going to twirl it around, and then I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to flop it down on the other side. All right, now the whole dough ball is coated. Okay, now if you probably, I don't know if you can see this, but this is about half of my bowl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this bread to rise just slightly over the bowl. I mean just slightly. So it'll be this nice little round poof. And then we're going to take and we're going to roll it out, and that's when we're going to make our bread dough. Now actually, from the first video to this one, this has actually only taken about 5 minutes. It seems much longer this way. But 5 minutes and you've got this bread dough. We've used some inexpensive flour, some inexpensive yeast, an egg yolk, flour and sugar, salt, nothing that costs too much money. We're going to end up with 2 lovely loaves of French bread that are going to cost you hardly anything. In the time that it's going to take you to make this French bread, it would be exactly the same time it takes you to run over to the grocery store and buy one of those already made loaves. So this is, make it inexpensive, make it clean, clean up your work area as you're going. I'm going to put this back in my sink because we're going to wash this. Put the bread machine back against the wall, and we're going to keep our work area clean. We're going to make this food healthy. We always wash our hands, wash our utensils, and we're going to make it fast. I mean, if you can make something like homemade bread in the same time it takes you to run to the store and buy it, wouldn't you rather make it? Your family's going to be so impressed. Nothing like a home filled with the smell of fresh bread. So while we're waiting for this dough to rise, we're going to need a cookie sheet. And I use a 3/4 sheet pan, and I'll show you that. We need your pastry brush. And that's going to be used to put the 1 egg yolk over the top of the bread when it's baking. We need our rolling pin. That's about all we need. So in the meantime, we clean up, put everything back where it goes so you've got a clean work surface. Grab your cookie sheet. This is the size cookie sheet that I use. I think this is a half sheet pan. I buy it in LA because it's inexpensive. I also bought one of these cooling racks. Any cooling rack will do. Any cookie sheet will do. It's the length of the bread. You're going to get your bread as long as your pan is. After the bread is baked, we're going to use this rack to cool it on. Whatever you do when making French bread, if you want that nice crusty top, that French bread is so lovely to eat. You don't want to put it in a bag. You don't want to cover it. Don't wrap it in tinfoil. You can take it out of the oven. You're going to let it cool on the cooling rack, and that makes the crust nice and crusty and yummy. Goes wonderful with spaghetti, uh, with some any soup or dish that it'll go with wonderful. All right, see ya. Make it fast, make it clean, make it yummy.